y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Boss Up and Glow Up with Lexi Sample. We're in a different location today because I was just having issues with the lighting in my other room, and I honestly think the lighting in this room is so much better. So maybe I'll move it. And honestly, it's amazing. I get to sit in my bed and chat with you guys. I kind of like this a lot better because I'm more comfy than sitting in my office chair over there, but I fuck with the lighting in here. But anyway, hi, I am so glad you're here today for another episode of Boss Up and Glow Up. But today, this episode isn't for the version of you that has it all together. This is for the part of you that is tired, but is still constantly showing up for yourself. For the part of you that holds everything for everyone else and maybe hasn't been held in a pretty long time. If you're known as the strong one or the reliable one, or you're the one that everyone goes to and people count on you, they lean on you, that can be exhausting. You're probably mentally, emotionally, even a little spiritually drained. This space is for you. Let's talk about it with honesty and compassion and without pressure to have a solution by the end, because we're not going to come up with a solution for this. We're just here to listen. We're here to vent. We're here to just let it all out, because you don't have to be strong all the time. And when you're this type of person, you feel like you need to be, and you don't. It's okay to be strong, but it's also okay to just chill out. And that's something I've struggled with, and I didn't realize it was a problem until I was just getting so exhausted from constantly helping people. I was like, dang, like I need help myself. Like, why am I helping people all the time and I'm not getting any help? So I'm just exhausted. Sometimes we're just tired of being the strong one, and let's talk about it today. The thing is, people who are seen as the strong one in the friend group are often carrying the heaviest loads. And that's not always the case, but a lot of times for someone to be super strong, they're carrying some sort of trauma that caused them to be this strong. Because most people aren't just strong if nothing ever happened to them, if that makes sense. Because we're not just carrying our own stuff, we're also carrying other people's too. You're the one people text when their world is completely in shambles. You're the one who keeps it cool under pressure. You're the one who's always finding the solution, who never falls apart in front of others. But the thing that no one talks about is being the strong one can often feel kind of isolating, because the strength becomes expected of you. People expect you to be strong all the time, and the millisecond you crack, people start to get a little uncomfortable. They think it's weird. They either try to fix it immediately or they completely disappear, and then you feel super alone. And there's a difference between being resilient and being silenced. And a lot of strong people are silently suffering because we feel like we don't have permission to not be okay. And it is okay to not be okay. But when you're so used to constantly being the glue for people and you're always the one helping people, it's hard. Like, you feel like you can never vent, you feel like you can never break down. And it's just so exhausting because you're fighting all these mental battles in your head, and you feel like you can't really lean on anyone because you're always the one people lean on. And the worst part about this is most people don't even notice your exhaustion, because your ability to perform strength has been mistaken for your default setting. People think that's how you just are, and you're built like that, and you're never going to get upset, you're never going to crack, but that's not normal. And it's crazy that some people think of their strong friend like that. And I'm not saying my friends think of me like that. I'm just saying in perspective of like everyone, because my friends definitely don't treat me like that. But I do think I am a very strong person, and people do reach out to me for advice, which is fine. It's fine, but I don't really reach out to others for advice, and that could be a me problem, but it also does get exhausting just trying to be strong all the time. Sometimes you need to just break down in your own little shell. Sometimes you just need to lose it, and it's okay to lose it. I've lost it a few times, and it actually felt really good. Um, I had a mental breakdown not that long ago, actually, and I haven't had one in a really long time, and it felt so good to have that mental breakdown, because I'm just so used to putting on this facade that I'm like always so strong and powerful, which yes, I am, but I do have days where I'm just tired of feeling strong and I want to be comforted for once. And that's okay. It's okay to not be okay. Now, let me ask you this. Where did your need to always be strong come from? A lot of us didn't choose strength, strength chose us. We had to be strong to survive. Maybe you grew up in a home where emotions weren't safe, or you had to grow up a little too fast, where being vulnerable was met with punishment, rejection, or silence. I think that's where my need to always be strong came from because as we know, I had an abusive father, and I feel like I was constantly in fight or flight. Like, I feel like I had to fight with all my might to survive. And I truly don't think if I wasn't strong, I don't know if I would be here today. And I'm not even just saying that for a pity party. Like, I'm so serious. I don't know if I didn't teach myself how to be strong and like fight for myself. I don't know if I would be here today. And I'm so grateful that I became so strong because I know how to handle myself. If something ever goes wrong, I can handle myself. I can stick up for myself and I can stick up for my friends, my family, people I love because I just grew up that way. I've always been strong. And I'm not saying other people are weak, but like me and my sister are two completely different people. Like she is a lot more emotional than me, which is good. Like she's in tune with her emotions. But me, on the other hand, I don't really show emotions all that much. And I will fight for what I think is right. Like, for example, if my sister was in trouble for something and she knew like what she did wasn't wrong, she would just cry, hide in her room. But if I knew what I did wasn't wrong and I was getting in trouble for it, I would fight with all my might, you know what I mean? And that's just an example. I couldn't really think of anything at the top of my head, but that's just an example like where she would kind of self-isolate when things were wrong, but I would completely fight for it because I knew in my mind what was right and what was wrong. And if I truly believe something is being done wrong to me, I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to fight for my rights. And that's just how I've always been. And I think that's what taught me how to be strong because I would never allow someone to silence me. And I think that's definitely why I was abused more than my sister was because I had a mouth on me. But I would rather get beat for knowing I stood up for myself than not standing up for myself at all. But I think that is definitely where my strength came from. But anyway, maybe you were taught directly or indirectly that being low maintenance and quote unquote easy made you lovable. So you became self sufficient. The fixer. You clung to control, not because you wanted power, but because chaos was too familiar. And that became your whole identity. Strength wasn't a gift, it was a shield. But there's a problem to this. This very strength that helped you survive back then might be the same thing that is keeping you from receiving love now. Because strength can become a wall. It definitely came a wall for me. And the more you perform it, the harder it is to be seen for who you really are: soft, tender, lovable. You're just seen as this strong shield of a human, which it is good to be strong, but it is also good to show your vulnerable side. And that's something I definitely struggle with is showing my vulnerable side because I can be vulnerable. I just don't ever show it. Like I show it to myself, I show it to my closest friends, but my sister, I don't think has ever seen me vulnerable at all. Like ever. She probably thinks of me as this strong person that can handle anything. Like she's never seen me emotional, which is crazy because me and my sister are close, but she doesn't see that side of me because I'm the older sister. I feel like I have to be the strong one, and I was just always that way. And definitely, if you are like this, there's definitely an underlying reason. And I think mine definitely stems from my childhood, which I feel like that's the case for a lot of people because a lot of the reason why we act the way we act usually stems from our childhood or like a past marriage or something like that. But if you're in your 20s like me, it's most likely childhood. Let's talk about the version of you that no one really sees. The one who's tired of holding it together, but still smiles for the group photo. The one who gives amazing advice, but still cries alone at night. The one who says, I'm fine, when you're anything but. Why do we hide these cracks? It's because we're afraid if we let people see our vulnerable side, that we're not always okay, we'll lose the love we worked so hard to earn by being strong. But what if love isn't something you have to earn by performing? What if real love, safe love, is the kind that holds you even when you're unraveling? You don't have to be everything for everyone. You don't have to keep proving your worth through strength. Someone who really loves you would be more than happy to see your vulnerable side. Someone who really loves you is going to want to comfort you when you're not okay. That's what true love is. You shouldn't always have to put on this facade that you're this happy, untouchable person. You don't always have to be like that, because true love is showing each other your vulnerable side. You're allowed to be upset sometimes. You're allowed to be angry. You are human. You're allowed to feel. And it's difficult when you feel like you can't crack. And I honestly, truly think my mom struggles with this. I should send her this episode, but I think she was afraid to show her vulnerable side because of what was going on with her and my dad. My dad was abusive, but I feel like she was putting on this facade that she was okay when we know deep down she was not okay. Well, looking back on it now, I know she wasn't okay. But when I was a kid, it was like, I didn't know. Like, I honestly, when I was younger, I thought that was a normal household. Like, I didn't know any better because that's all I saw. But I think my mom put on this facade that she was okay all the time. Like, yes, she's a strong bitch for sure, but she would never like talk about her emotions. She would never show sadness. But I could tell when she was upset because she would kind of isolate herself, kind of like my sister does. Like, she would just be in her room and just kind of not come out. And she would just say she's busy or doing something. But I knew something was wrong because I could smell it. I could feel it in my soul. But it was harder to understand as a kid. But when I look back on these situations as an adult, I'm like, damn, like there were so many signs that she was not okay. And I wish I would have known what I know now back then, because I could have been able to help. But I was like a child. What could I do as a child? You know what I mean? So it's just crazy looking back on scenarios that have happened in my childhood now that I have the wisdom and strength that I have now. And I'm like, damn, like I would have done things so much differently. I would have been able to help in this situation. And see, that's where my strength is coming from. I'm thinking I could have helped when I know I was like 6. I couldn't do anything, but that's something my mom definitely struggled with. And she still to this day, I feel like, doesn't show emotions. Like, I never see her upset. I never see her angry. And she's dating someone new. And I know for sure they definitely have arguments. They definitely have fights because, like, that's normal. But I never see it. Like, I never see her upset, anything. And I feel like she is just used to hiding her emotions because she was doing that my whole childhood. But now that I'm older, like, I could help. I can give you advice. I can do something. So if you're sad, just tell me. Like, it's okay. But I am like her in that way. Like, no one sees me upset. No one sees me angry. Like, my best friend saw me cry for the first time the other day because I was getting my eyebrows threaded and it hurt really bad. Like, she's never seen me like cry. But even though I wasn't sad, but it was funny because she like pointed it out. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I've never seen you like cry." And we've been best friends for like 10 years. But I was getting my eyebrows done and that shit hurt like a motherfucker. But yeah, I'm just so used to putting on this facade that I'm always okay. And honestly, I use humor to cope. Like, if I'm mad or upset, I'll start laughing like a psychopath. But even though I'm like dying inside, I'll just make a joke out of it and I'll make it seem like it's not as bad as it is. Is anybody else like that? I feel like a lot of people use humor to cope, or like the people that love dark humor, they're those kind of people. That's me. It's the Scorpio in me. You're allowed to be messy. You're allowed to need things. You are allowed to fall apart. Start saying, I'm not okay out loud, even just to yourself in the mirror. Naming your truth is the first step. Let people help you, even in small ways. Let someone bring you dinner. Let someone listen without fixing. I've honestly had situations like that before where my one friend who knew I was like sad when I was going through a hard time or whatever would be like, "What can I do? Like, let me bring you something." And I would always be like, "No, no, no, I can do it. Like, you don't need to bring me food. You don't need to bring me do anything." When honestly, just having that would have helped me a lot. Just having someone bring me food and just talking to me would have helped a lot because I don't know, having something done for you is kind of nice, especially when you're used to being the one that does everything for everyone. Having something done for you or brought to you feels good and it's okay. And let someone listen to you without trying to fix you. Just vent. Vent to your friends. Just be like, can you just listen to me? I don't need you to say anything. I just want you to hear me out and listen to everything I have to say. You don't even need to respond. I just need to let this out and just air it all out. Don't let them fix you. Give yourself permission to cancel plans without guilt. That's another thing I do struggle with because sometimes I'll make plans with people and like a week in advance, okay? And then the day of will come and I'm like, dang, like I really worked a lot this week. I'm just really tired. I don't feel like it. And I would feel so bad saying that I didn't feel like doing it anymore. So I would either push through and just really want to go home, or I would cancel but feel so bad. I would feel awful. But it's okay. Like, we are human. We're allowed to be tired. We're allowed to not want to do things sometimes. If you made plans with somebody and then you changed your mind, it is okay. Changing your mind is a normal thing. So don't feel guilty about changing your mind. You need to also make space for emotions without trying to solve them. You need to cry, journal, breathe. It is very, very healthy to let out your emotions. I love doing it in journaling. I love journaling all my feelings because I just write down how I'm feeling. No one tries to fix me. Like, it's okay to have someone fix you. Like, I love going to therapy, don't get me wrong, but it's also nice to just let out all my feelings, let out all my emotions on paper without someone trying to fix me. Which sometimes we do need that help, but sometimes we also just need to vent. And that's the best part of a journal is because no one can respond. You can look back on all of your journal entries and see how much you've grown emotionally. I love it. Also, you should unplug from being everyone's anchor for even just a day. You're not abandoning them. You're coming home to yourself. When you are constantly showing up for every single person, you're trying to make sure everyone around you is okay. You're not focusing on yourself. You're not making sure you're okay. And I feel like that's something we often miss as the strong person is we forget to check in on ourselves because we're so used to taking care of everyone. We need to just sit there and do a self check-in once in a while. We need to make sure we're okay because you can't possibly help somebody else if you're not okay yourself. So it is okay to just unplug and just stop trying to fix everyone. Sit there, check in with yourself, and make sure you're okay first. If you need to mentally reset, you need to not speak to anyone for a day, do it. That is healthy. That is important. Even if someone's life is crashing and they need you, but you are physically, mentally exhausted, you can't possibly help them because you can't help yourself right now. You need to mentally reset in order to be there for people. It's okay to lay down the armor. You can trust that the world won't fall apart. You just need to let things be. In fact, the world gets to hold you for a moment. You're so used to holding other people, let them hold you. You need to make sure you are okay first. You need to make sure you put yourself as number one because you are what you have in the long run. At the end of the day, all you have is yourself. So you need to make sure you put yourself as your number one priority and then put other people next to that. But you need to make sure you are okay. It's great that you care about people. It's great you have compassion for people and you love people, but you can't possibly help people if you aren't fully in tune with yourself. If your nervous system is constantly bracing for impact, if your body is super tense, even while you're just resting or laying in bed, if your heart feels numb from constantly being okay, this is what I want to say to you. You don't have to earn the right to rest. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You're not weak for needing a break. You were never meant to carry it all alone, and you don't have to anymore. Say this with me or just listen to it. I don't always have to be strong. I can be soft and still be whole. I am allowed to receive. I am worthy of being held, even in my mess. You are not a machine. You are not just the role you play for others. You're a person, a soul, a heart that deserves care and rest. Okay? Let people in. Let all the tears fall. Let yourself exhale. Strength will still be there. It's always going to be there when you need it. But for now, just let things be and just breathe, okay? You need to take that time to relax because if you are constantly always the strong one, you're going to get mentally burned out. I want to thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Boss Up and Glow Up. I really hope this helped you because I know it's a little difficult when you're always being strong for others and you're always helping others constantly and you're just starting to get a little burnt out because you're not helping yourself. So I hope this helped you a little bit and made you realize that you are allowed to mentally rest. You're allowed to reset. You're allowed to be vulnerable. That's healthy, okay? Thank you so much for listening. I love you so much. Just keep glowing and keep growing. Love you. Bye.